Hello everyone, this is Raj. Welcome to the world of Salesforce. Today is the day 24 class where we are going to discuss introduction to the flows, right? Which is nothing but a automation process. So in the admin concepts, so it is a automation process without using any code. How we are going to automate, right? Flows is nothing but a automation process without any code here, without using any code. How we are going to automate. There are two types of generally automation process basically, right? Earlier there are around four things that mainly in the automation, right? So now it has been reduced to two. So one is a flow and other one is approval process, right? The first one is the flow and other one is the approval process. Well, earlier there was workflow builder is there and process builder is there. Okay, earlier there was workflow builder and process builder. Now, workflow builder and the process builder are depreciated by Salesforce. Okay, are deprecated by Salesforce. Now we will not read all about this, right? All about this workflow builders and process builders. Okay, we will only see what is a flow builder. Nowadays, the entire focus of the Salesforce is on the flow builders only. The complete product automation is done on the flows only. Whatever the Salesforce updates are giving, right? Generally, every in the summer version, in the winter version, right? In the spring version, so they are releasing some updates, right? So whatever the Salesforce updates are there, they give on the flow, not on the workflow builders, not on the process builders. They stopped giving updates on that. So now we are going to focus on this thing, right? So before this flow, we talk about this automation. If we want to automate anything, for example, let me go to the Salesforce here, right? Go to any one of the object, let's say account or contact, anything. Okay. See here, is that my doctor subject? If you see here, there are some automation. So, how to create automation? Let's say here one checkbox is there. See, these are the checkboxes is there. So how to automate this? So that means when this checkbox is on, right? When this checkbox is turned on, so then some automation should run in the background, right? Some automation should run in the background. That means it should send an email notification that your documents has been successfully verified. Congratulations. Like this, some email versions, right? When this particular document verified, this particular checkbox is turned on. Right, already we have created some email templates, right? So based on the email templates, we need to send the email notifications that congratulations, your document has been successfully verified. So this should done automatically, not manually. Right here, flow is a thing. It is very helpful to automate these type of things here. How can you automate like this? Right? That means we can send emails. We can create records from the flow. Right? We can create directly records from the flow. We can update the records. We can delete the records. Got it? So what are the DML operations are there? So these all these DML operations we can perform using flow, right? With the help of a flow, we can create some screens so that we can show the screen to the users like this. See here, right? Whatever the screen you are seeing here, right? We can create screens as per the business requirement in order to show the screen to the users. Right, there are many options like sending emails, creating a task, making call outs. All those options are there in the Salesforce, right? On the Salesforce flows, right? There is a one more option is we can create a different screens to the users. Okay, there are different types of flows for different requirements, for different use cases, right? We are going to use this type of flows. So let me show you here. In generally, so when we talk about any flow, right? In generally, we are having flows are screen flows and auto launched flow. And auto launched flows are there. Screen flows and auto launched flows. In generally, flows are screen flows and auto launched flows. Under screen flows, we are having only the screen flow, which I will show you, right? In auto launched flows, we are having auto launched flows with no trigger, right? So under this auto launched flows, we are having record type flows, right? We are having record trigger flows, and we are having platform event flows, and scheduled flows, right? So like this, in generally flows are auto launched flows and screen flows. Under the auto launched flows, these type of remaining flows are there, like auto launched flows without trigger, platform events, scheduled flows, right? Record trigger flow. These type of flows are there. Mainly, we are having this auto launched flows and the screen flows only. Screen, see first, one by one you can see here, screen flow. Screen flow is like name itself. The name itself it is saying screen. So what is there in it? User intervention is required here, right? The main user intervention is required, which means we have presented a screen. So let me show you here. So go to this doctors, right? I have gone to this doctors object. So let me create a doctor. Let me click on this new button. See here, whatever the screen you are seeing, right? So whatever the screen you are seeing. So here we have to create a record, right? Doctor's record I'm going to create. So on clicking on this new button, all the separate on screen is going to appear here to enter the data, right? This is via screen flow also we can do it. Through the screen flow to enter the data to the users. So now the user has to fill all these details, am I right? So user has to fill all these details, whatever the details are there. Right? And after click on this save button, some new record has been created. Right? So after click on the save button, the new record has been creating in the Salesforce, right? Similar in the screen flow also, a screen will be presented in which you can create the records by taking inputs from the users like this. So I am going to give the input, right? By taking inputs from the user. And after clicking on this, after taking on this input from the user, you can search something and give it to the user as well, right? So we can give some inputs on this screen, right? Like we can show the outputs, right? So I don't want to take any inputs means yes, you can give outputs. You can show the just output on this screen, right? Like showing some information in a tabular form or something. Okay. So like this, I can show. So let now the users wants to view all this doctor's information related to one particular area or doctor. So I want to show all this information. Then I can show all this information in a tabular form and I can display to the users, right? And this can be done in only one flow, which is a screen flow here. There are many flows. You can see if you can see here, there are many flows here. Auto launched flows are also there. Right, the name itself it is saying that auto launch, no trigger. So this has to be called for from somewhere else, right? This has to be called from the reference, auto launched flow from the reference. Let's say for example, this can be called um, like from an auto launched flow. Okay, so it can also be called from the record trigger flow. Auto launched flows can also be called from platform event flows like this, right? It can also be called from the scheduled flow, right? So to say like it does not have any entry point. It does not have any entry point for this auto launched flows. It does not have any entry point unless we call it, right? Unless we call it. So till calling, what is the use of it? Nothing is there. So till this time, it will remain sitting as it is. That's it. Right? To call it basically, so element is required to push it. Right? Then only it will run. Otherwise, it will not run. Simply, it is as it is only. Right? Then comes this platform events. Right? So platform is there to handle the events. So we can discuss this when the particular topic is when we are going to discuss this particular topics. Got it? Then comes to this schedule flow. Okay. So if you have to schedule something, let us say if we want to schedule like every day at 10 a.m. So which I need to send the emails to the particular users. So I need to schedule this to the customers. So then we can schedule this. We can use this schedule flow trigger. So next important thing is very, very important here, record trigger flow. As the name itself, it is saying a record trigger. So whenever something happens in the record, let us say a record has been created, like a record has been updated, record has been deleted. Simply we can call this flow. Right? Record trigger. When something is happening in the record, then it is going to fire. So whatever the logic inside we are going to write. So in this particular record trigger flow, that logic is going to perform. So after let us say, for example, I have created one record. So something happened in the record. That means record creation is happened. So what is the logic I have written? Like just create a task or create a related object or send an email, right? Or post a charter message or make a call outs, right? So whatever the email operation created, updated, deleted. So if this happens in any record, then this particular record trigger flow is going to fire. Then whatever the actions inside this we have written, so all these actions are going to fire here. Right, we have one more flow also, like that is an asynchronous flow, asynchronous trigger flow, async trigger flow. Right, async trigger flow, which is like we want some action to happen like after 1 minute, some action after 2 minutes. So now the flow is running, right? Flow is as it is running, but I want some action to be performed after 1 minute. Let's after 2 minutes. Then we can use this async triggers. Okay. So let us say, let me go into the Salesforce. So and let me open any one of the record. So now I have updated something here. Right? I have updated something. After clicking on the save button, right? Some email should be sent after 1 minute. Right? After 1 minute. So then this particular flow is async trigger, async trigger flow can be used here. And there is also one more advanced flow is the record orchestration. Right, this is which is advanced concept in this flows. Okay, so now let us try to create a flow here. How to create a flow here? Okay, so now click on this setup. So under this home page, see here under this home page, we are having here create option is there, right? Just click on this create. Now you can see a flow option is there, right? So from here you can directly create the flow. Right, so create of the flow is okay. Now when so I want to see whatever the flows created in the Salesforce. So I have created just now, let us say I have created a flow where it is going to lies, right? Where it lies in the Salesforce. So how to view my particular sales, what are the flows I have created? Okay, so in the quick find, just in the home page. Okay, so in the setup quick find, we are having just type for the flow. Just type for the flow. You can see here in the process automation, we are having a flows option. Just click on this flows. See, Whatever the flows are there, these are the some of them are standard flows given by the Salesforce. Okay, see, all these are the Salesforce flows are there. So if you want to create any flow, see here, then new button is also there. These are the all flows, and if you want to create a new flow, yes, you can create a new flow. Just click on this new flow. See here. So you should start from a scratch, or you can use any template. So as of now, any templates are not there. So I should start from a scratch. So not building an automation. This is the new update given by the Salesforce. Previously, this page is not there, right? New update given by the Salesforce. So I should start from a scratch. Click on next. See here, there are some different types of flows are there. Right, a screen flow is there, which we have discussed. Record trigger flow is there. Scheduled trigger flow is there. Platform event trigger flow is there. Record orchestration is there. Auto launch no flow, no trigger is there. Right, auto launched flow. So all these are some of the flows. Right, see here, it is the best recommended. You used to use these flows and some other flow types. These are remaining flow types are there. Okay, so mainly we are going to use this type of flows. So let me click on this screen flow. Just click on this button, create. Now inside this flow, what is here start and what is here end? Right. So this is the start element here. This is the start element which we are going to start the flow. And in between you are seeing here plus icon. See here plus, click on this plus button. See here, you are having all these of elements. This is the interaction element, logic element, data element. So what is this? Right, under each element, what are the actions we are going to have, right? So what are the topics we are going to cover? So if you click on this plus icon, then these type of elements we are going to have. So in between start and the end. So here the screen flow is going to start and here the screen flow is going to end. Okay, so now let me show you here. Okay, now let me show you in generally, not only in the screen flow, just in the flow. So in the flows, we are having three type of elements are there. Data elements, interaction elements, and logical elements. Logic elements. Right? Data elements, interaction elements, and the logic. Three type of elements are there in the flow. Right? So now, so what happens in this data elements? So flow can interact with the Salesforce records. Here flow can interact with the Salesforce records. In generally, we are having in this flow data elements, interaction element, and the logic elements. So data means we are going to interact with the Salesforce records. So whatever the records are there inside the Salesforce. See here. So these are the some of the records are there. If you go to any one of the object, these are the now in the flows directly I can interact with these records. Right? So the here we can create a records as well. That means I am going to creation also. I am going to interact with the Salesforce only, right? Salesforce records. So what are the actions we are having here? So under this data, so we can create a records. We can delete records. We can get records here. Get records. That means we can search records in the Salesforce and we can get into the flows. So we can update the records and we can roll back the records. Right? So directly I am going to interact with the Salesforce by creating, by deleting, by updating. So all the DML operations. So I can search the particular record, whatever useful in the flow. I am going to search and I am going to use it in the flows. And I can roll back also those records. Right? So interaction. See here. So mainly user can interact A user mainly interact using screens, using screen. So under this, I am having a screen. So I'm having a screen. You can create a screen, which I have showed previously, right? So where the user can enter details, give some inputs. So where I can use this screen and I can use this actions. Very important here, actions. So what type of actions, like sending an email or posting a message in the charter or calling any Apex class, right? If you are going to write an Apex class, the Apex class is going, we can call under these actions. We can create a sub flows. We can create a one more flow, and that flow we can call under this main flow, right? So we can call under this main flow a subflow also we can use. And if you want to display any errors, custom errors also, we can write it here, use it in the flows. Custom errors also we can use it. So mainly these four are used for the interaction. So for this four, you can need a for the screen. See here. So in this screen, whatever the information, if you want to give, if you want to show an output, or you can take an input, that you can use. If you want to show any error message, so here also you can use those screens, custom error messages, right? So actions means whatever the actions are there, the actions we can perform, like sending an emails, like all this. We can create a one more flow, and we can call, if necessary, that we can call under this main flow also. Right? So now the logic. So all the logic is lies here. All the logic lies here. So that means if you want to assign any elements, assignment can be possible. Assignment element is there. Assignment can be possible. If you want to decide decision box, yes or no, right? So whether this is a true, then only you should run this flow, or else end the flow like this. If you want to give some decision, right? Let the system will decide. Okay, now based on these conditions, right? So now I need to run the flow or not. So like this decision also you can provide. You can transform the flows as well. You can loop the flows, right? Like in the development classes, when development classes there is a for loops are there, where we can iterating. Iteration can be used. So that we can discuss when in the development classes. So here loop. So how to iterate in between them, right? So there we can use this loop element. So collections also there here. Collection sort is there. Collection filter is there, right? These type of logics are there. Collection filter. Got it? So all these are some of the flow elements here, right? When you click on this, let me go here into the Salesforce. When you click on this particular plus button, where you can see here interaction element. Under this interaction element, we're having screen, action, subflow that we have discussed. So under logic element, we are having assignment, decision, loop, transform, collection, sort, and collection filter, right? So under the data element, we are having create records, update records, get records, and delete records. And we can roll back the records here. Got it, right? So in order to use these elements, right? If you click on this particular screen flow, now I have used this screen flow, right? So now I need to enter some data, right? So in order to enter the data, we need some, in order to enter the any data inside the Salesforce, we need some resources, right? So we need some of the resources inside the Salesforce. See here, when you click on this particular button, so what are the, see here, new resources there. So what is the resource here, right? What is the resource here? How we are going to, so what type of resources are there here? So let me explain this. Okay. So in generally in the flows, okay. So we can consider like it as a variables as well. Like variables also we are having in this flows. So I will explain later this thing. Okay. Where we have to store some information. Where I am going to store some information. right? So in this particular flows, we are having a variables, right? Variables, in these variables, we can store our data here. So formula, we can store choice, right? So record choice set, pick list is there. Hope you understand now, I think. Pick list choice set is there, right? So stages are there, constants are there, text templates are there. We can create our own templates as well. So text templates are there, right? Collection choice sets are there, right? These are the resources in the Salesforce flow here. Resources in Salesforce flow, right? Let me go into any doctor's record here, right? If you want to store like some let us say here name information, and I need to store some name information, right, in our files. So let me save this. See here, now this particular name information is stored under this doctor's name or name, owner, country, state, email, whatever is there. So when I'm going to save this, that means everything. So whatever the information we have stored, so complete information is stored under this object, right? We are going to store a specific information here. See here. So under this text box, we are going to store some text information, right? See, if you see here, there's some drop down. But okay, as per the Salesforce from the admin concepts, we are having this type of data types, and we can create from this fields, right? We can create this type of fields, and we can display in this page layouts. But how in a screen flow, when we click on this particular new button, so I want to create this type of screen. So in this type of screen, if you so how to create this drop downs? See here, there is a drop down here like pick list. So how to create this drop down? How to create this lookup fields in a screen flow? How to show a multi-select pick list values? Right? How to show a multi-select pick list values like this? So see here, if you want to show any, see here, this type of, let me go here and create a new, right? So how to create this type of pick list? See, this is the multi-select pick list, means this one. So how to use this multi-select pick list, right? So how to use this lookup relations, all this. The whole concept comes under this resources. So we are using the formula fields, right? If you want to create a constant variables, then how will you create in the flow? So for this purpose, we are having these are the resources available in the Salesforce flow. So generally we are going to create an email templates, right? But here we can create in the flow itself, we can create a texture templates here. The whole concept comes under this resources, right? And but in this variables also, if you see here under this resources, all this are available. Okay, good. And that too in the variables. So what are the data types are available here? So under this variables, what are the data types? So let me show you here. These are the some of the resources available in the Salesforce. Okay. Okay. Now see here. So variables. Okay. Variables in Salesforce flow. So what are these variables in the Salesforce flow here? So generally we are having this Boolean type, right? Variables. The variables nothing but a data type. How we are going to create a data types here, right? Boolean types are there. We are having a currency, right? A currency types are there. Date time formats are there, right? Number formats are there. Date formats are there, right? Record ID formats are there. Pick list formats are there, right? Text formats are there. multi-select pick list values or multi-select pick list we can use here in this variables, right? And if you want to define any apex defined also we can have apex defined variables. So these variables plays an important role here. Like a particular field in our regular objects, we are having a certain fields, right? We can use the data types there. So all the types of these data types are available here, right? Basically, all the data types are available in this variables in the Salesforce flow, which we can create here. All lookup relations also we can create lookup and master details. So that are not visible here, right? Because that topic covers under the resources. So under the resources, we can create lookups and master detail relationships. Now got it right? So we have covered this type of flows. So what are the different types of flows are there? We have covered, and what are the elements that are there in this in the flows that we have covered, and in these elements how to create the resources. So when you are using these elements, so what are the resources we are going to use, and in the resources what are the variables are there. So all these topics we have discussed, right? So from tomorrow we are going to start from a simple flow by constructing a simple flow and to a higher level. Okay. So if you are having any doubts at any point of time, mention in the comments. I am going to respond to those comments. Okay. So keep following for the channel. Keep following the channel for the latest updates. Thank you guys.